everyone, welcome back to my channel. I am Tasha and I am here to do a video that I should have actually had out weeks ago. It is the June favorite for my Booktube romance takeover reading group that I am a part of, and I know I've been absent for a long time on here. I know I keep promising that I'm going to start getting videos out, but I started a new position at work about 2.5 weeks ago, and it has absolutely turned my world upside down. I used to work 10 a.m. to 9 p.m. and I am now working 2 a.m. to 11 a.m. So it is completely different. I'm not used to going to bed until about 2 a.m. in the morning, and now I'm getting up to go to work at 2 a.m. in the morning. So this has been absolutely crazy. I find myself sleeping a lot during the day, and so I've just been trying to get on this new schedule, and so I have been really slacking on getting this video out, and I apologize to all of you. I apologize to my fellow booktubers that are in this video that it has taken so long for me to get this out, and I apologize about this lighting. Everyone in my house is asleep right now, so I just wanted to jump on here real quick and do this. So anyway, so this video is our June favorites. A bunch of us get together each month and we all send in a clip. We take turns doing it on each other's channels, and it just basically to let you know what our favorite book that we read that month was. So this is the June favorites. So I'm going to go ahead and let you see the clips from my other booktube ladies on here, and then I'll be back at the end to tell you what my favorite book was.
Hi guys, it's Ashley from Usher Books, and my favorite book for June was the All the King's Men duet by Kennedy Ryan. So the first book is The Kingmaker, but you really do have to read them both like as a set because you're just going to want to know how the story ends, trust me. I read this duet back at the beginning of June and was just completely obsessed. I still am. One of the best books, like duets I've read the whole year, and I think it's gonna like stand the test of time. So in this duet, we meet Lennox, who is a Native American young woman, and at the beginning of the story, you kind of get some of her background, but then you see her at a protest to stop an oil pipeline that would be put in on Native American land. And just throughout the whole series, Lennox is just an incredible person. She stands for what she wants to see change in the world. She just stands up for what she wants to believe in. She's so driven, she's so smart, and the growth in her was amazing. And then our hero is Max, and his family is very wealthy, and he actually meets Lennox because his father is the one who wants to put the oil pipeline in on the Native American land. So he gets kind of dragged along, doesn't know what he's going to, and sees this like incredible woman giving this speech and is just forever changed. This couple is just kind of like star-crossed because obviously they come from very different backgrounds, families that have very different belief systems, and they really have to fight a lot of kind of outside obstacles to be together. This book also, or the duet, spans quite a long time. You kind of jump in time. These two characters kind of keep getting pulled apart and then finding their way back to each other. I just adored it. I thought that the romance was so swoony and steamy. I loved Lennox and Max together because they just butt heads, but also like really make each other better. And just the growth that both of these characters had was just perfect. And I just already want to reread it. It's such a good duet, and it just, I don't know, everything about that book had me enamored. I was up till like 2 in the morning reading it, and I didn't want it to end.
Hello, I'm Stephanie, and I have a book channel called Steph's Romance Book Talk, and this collaboration is awesome, and I love doing it with my bookish friends. And for the month of June, one of my favorite books that I just think you guys should go check out is Hearts on Hold by Cherish Reed. This book is a interracial couple that deals with sort of a workplace friends with benefits situation. Our main female character is a college professor, and it's at a private college where she is Black, and she is dealing with some of the difficulties that come along with higher education and having sort of that old boys club director or in charge type professor. They don't give her the respect that she deserves, being in the field that she's in. And this is her story of how she is, you know, encouraged to do a 4-week plan where she initiates something, and her initiative is to work with the local libraries in the area to sort of get people interested in the different degree programs as well as this private university. And in that, she meets this guy that is the children's director of the library, and they hit it off. He's a white guy, and they hit it off, but he's not naive to Black people. It's not like it's a first time interaction with him, because he has a niece that is Black, and they end up going on this little bit of a journey where they're balancing each other, because our female character is a little bit uptight, but at the same time our male character is a little laid back, but he has to start to put on this stern face for his niece. And you know, their interaction is so much fun, and there's this sexual tension that they have right off the bat, and I just absolutely loved this story. I definitely encourage you, if you are an audiobook listener, to take a listen to this one, because the narrator is as if you are sitting with your girlfriend and she is telling you a story over a glass of wine, and I just really loved it oh so much. So go check out Hearts on Hold by Charish Reed.
Hello friends and enemies, my name's Isabelle and I'm from the channel Happy For Now. I'm so excited for this month's collab. It was so hard to pick June's book, but I had 8 5-star reads last month, so I'm really truly like thriving in my reading situation currently, but also like, how do I pick a favorite? So it took a lot of contemplation, but I arrived on it, and I've decided that The Devil of Downtown is going to be my favorite. It came out at the end of June. I absolutely loved it. This is book 3 in the Uptown Girls series. You do not need to read books 1 and 2 in the series to read this one, but I highly recommend all 3. This is a Gilded Age New York historical. It is filthy, number 1, in the best ways. 2, it has headstrong heroine named Justine, who is trying to do right by a bunch of people who live in the rougher parts of New York City in the Gilded Age. 3, she made bowling sexy. What more do you need? I mean, how? But she managed with our hero Jack Mulligan, who is a criminal underlord boss. He runs like all of New York, and he has to prove how he can change to be with Justine, and like there's a lot of like found familyness, and just it's glorious. It's so good. It gave me like mafia romance but historical vibes overall, so I highly recommend The Devil of Downtown, because I didn't think that book 2 could be topped, but Jack and Justine are pretty dang close.
Hi everyone, it's Nicole from Who Picked This Book, and my favorite romance read of June was A Promise of Fire by Amanda Boucher. A Promise of Fire is a fantasy romance, and it literally has everything I love in a romance. It has a badass female protagonist who saves the men on multiple occasions. It has a hate to love trope. It has snarky, sexual tension-filled banter between the 2 love interests. It has a found family trope, epic world building. It has Greek mythology. We have our alpha male protagonist, and of course it is steamy as heck. So in A Promise of Fire, we follow Kat, who is disguised as a soothsayer in a traveling circus. She is hiding from her family because she has this all-powerful destiny, and her mother just really wants to use her, and her mother is very abusive. So she escapes and is basically on the run. She has so many magical abilities, and she is known as the Kingmaker. One day, Griffin comes to the circus to find her. He knows that she's the Kingmaker, and she can also tell if anyone is lying. So Griffin uses that as an opportunity to fetter out some unloyal companions that he has with them, and also prove that Kat is who he thinks she is. At first, he is just like everyone else who wants to use her for her magic. Him and his family have just conquered a realm and they are the newly reigned royals of this realm. But as they're traveling and as he gets to know her more and more, Griffin realizes that he wants Kat for more than just her magic. This book is just action packed. And just look at this. The cover is stunning. Sorry if my ring light is causing a glare, but I love Kat so much. I love the banter between her and Griffin, and sexual tension is off the charts. And I just really love how they find a way to trust each other with not only their lives, but their secrets. I rated this book 5 out of 5 stars. And if you like any of those tropes that I mentioned in the beginning, you're definitely gonna love this book.
Hi guys, Sarah here from Steeped in Books, and I am here to share with you my favorite book that I read in June of 2020, and that was The Last Train to Key West by Chanel Clayton. I read this on audio, and it was told in 3 different perspectives. This is a historical fiction novel, and it was amazing. It was an absolute 5-star read for me. I do not dole out 5-star ratings lightly. I really need to love a book for it to get a 5-star rating from me, and this one was fabulous. So it takes place over the course of pretty much a weekend. The bulk of the story takes place over the course of a weekend, the Labor Day weekend in 1935, in Key West, Florida, of course. And during that weekend, there was a major meteorological I can talk, event that happened in the form of a massive, one of the worst hurricanes to make landfall in the Keys ever. And it follows, like I said, 3 different characters. So it's 3 women. We have Helen, who is pregnant and married to a very abusive husband. We have Marta, who is recently married and up from Cuba. Her and her husband are heading to New York. But they have stopped in the Key West area for their honeymoon. And then we have Elizabeth, who is coming down from New York to search for her brother. So the lives of these 3 women interconnect with each other, along with this hurricane coming in. And it literally made for an amazing book. All those elements just, I cannot gush about this book enough. I do not want to talk too much more about the plot line other than that, because I literally went into this book not knowing anything at all about it, and I think it made it that much better for me because I wasn't expecting things to happen. It was fabulous, absolutely fabulous. It made me, when I was done, I've always said a good marker for a good historical fiction novel is when it follows an actual event that took place, that it makes you want to research that event, and this one did. I did some searching on this hurricane, found out more about it and how devastating it was and heartbreaking. I highly encourage you to read this book. If you like historical fiction, this one is definitely a must-read.
Hey there, it's Bree from In Love and Words, and my favorite read of June was Take a Hint, Danny Brown by Talia Hibbert. I loved Get a Life, Chloe Brown by Talia Hibbert, which is the first book in the Brown Sisters series. This one is the second book, but holy crap, I absolutely adored Danny Brown's story. And not just because of Danny Brown, who herself is such a badass character. She's extremely independent. She doesn't need or want anybody serious in her life as far as like a romantic relationship. And then you have her exact opposite, which is Zaf, who is like this big, burly ex-rugby player who is now the security guy at the college campus that, I think it's college campus, that she teaches at. And he is like the exact opposite. He believes in love. He wants a long-term relationship. He has always been really attracted to her, and she kind of is just barely notices him. I mean, I think she's attracted to him too, but doesn't really think much of it until she gets stuck in an elevator and he has to rescue her, which would be all well and good, except that it's caught on camera and it ends up going viral. So I feel like the going viral thing has been happening a lot lately in books, and that's not really something I gravitate towards. All that aside, I loved this book because it had obviously the fake dating element. Zaf was such a cinnamon roll, seems like such a sweet, good person. He has this whole like side job aside from his security for this place that raises money so that he can coach these kids, but help them emotionally and help them get in touch with their emotions through doing physical activity, which is such a cool and interesting thing. He seems like such an amazing character. Of course, Talia Hibbert always writes really good steamy scenes, so obviously the steamy scenes were fantastic. And that was my favorite read of June.
Okay, I am back with my June favorite. So I did not have a great reading month in June. I had hit a huge reading slump. I did, however, have a favorite, and that is going to be The Trouble with Vampires by Lindsay Sands. This is the 29th book in the Argento series, and I absolutely loved it. This followed Santo Notte, and he has had a rough time with it. Some bad things have happened to him, both in his past long time ago, as well as recently. And so he's not handling things too well, and his family's really worried about him. And then he meets his potential life mate, Petronella Stone. She goes by Pet, and it's kind of an interesting situation because unlike most of these where the women don't know, or the love interest does not know about immortals, she does know about immortals, and she's had a history with them, so she's not super open to the idea of being with one. And so it's very interesting to read how it all plays out, with from the very first time of her meeting them and recognizing that they're immortals from the very start to the very end when they are madly in love. So I really enjoyed this. I loved finally getting Santo's story, just because knowing the things that have happened to him in the previous books and how hard a time he was having it. I'm very glad to have his book finally. And if you have not checked out this series, I do know that there's 30 books out, so it can be kind of daunting to want to read a 30 book series, but I will tell you, they all fly by so fast. I can usually read one in about 1 to 2 days. Sometimes they do take me longer, just whenever I don't have a lot of time to read, but they fly by so fast, and they will literally have you rolling in your seat, laughing out loud. They're so hilarious. I've enjoyed every single one of them. I think I've given every single one a 5-star, but one of them. And they're just so funny. So if you haven't checked them out, definitely check them out. But that is it for now. I want to thank you guys for sticking around and waiting and being patient with me while I get my life in order to get videos posted. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video. And if you haven't checked out the ladies in these videos, go check them out. They're all amazing. Go subscribe to their channels. They all make great content. And that is it for now. I hope you guys have a wonderful day and happy reading.